Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm JVA or J. This is officially part 4 to Sally Face Pink Nights. Oh my god, yeah, we made it somewhat far. Yeah. I'm gonna try to cut this short as usual, but first I'm gonna do a little shout out. Shout out to Milo. They're always watching every part I drop. They always ask for parts, and yeah, go follow them. They also have a YouTube where they do the kind of like the exact same thing I do. They, VA, they voice act. So yeah, you guys go check them out. They're great. I recommend. They're really good. Yeah. So they asked for part 4. I'm delivering, and yeah, shout out to Milo. Also update on my posting schedule. I'm gonna start posting on Fridays and Saturdays, I think. Is it better? But it's good. Ugh, depending on the week and what I'm doing, it depends on, yeah. So, only thing I have to say to this is my brother's over because my mom's on our cruise, and so yeah, he's babysitting me and my little sister. So yeah, you're gonna hear slight talking and a little bit of music in the back because I don't want it to be too loud like last time. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm JVA. I'm gonna cut this short so we can move on to today's story. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, hi everyone. You know the drill. The Halloween party part 1. Yeah, this is perfect because August and then October is like around the corner. And my birthday's also coming up, so I might actually make myself a birthday special. Yeah, I may make myself a birthday special. So, yeah, I'll be 17. So, yeah, besides that, let's get on to the story. I didn't want to say, I do want to tell you that I did originally record for this the first time, and it was on media and not media and mic, so I couldn't hear myself, but that's good because I was stuttering a lot because I was bewildered about what was happening. I'm not even gonna spoil it, but NSFW ahead. That's a little bit, not much. Just if you don't like kissing and hearing someone gasp out of breath, then yeah, don't continue. I'm yeah, don't continue. Anyways, let's get started. The following week was a blur. Not only was it midterms, but I was also completely lost in thought at all times. I couldn't stop thinking about Sal. I would replay the last time I saw him over and over, almost every night before I fell asleep. Over the course of the week, the thought of texting Sal had crossed my mind, but every time it was stress, including I just never knew what to say, and honestly, I don't know what I will say when I see him. Tonight wasn't going to be like those other times. Now I knew for sure there was something between us, but the ball was in the court, and I would have to make the first move. Sorry. You. Hey, Ash. Hi, what's up? So, we're getting ready at Larry's? The group chat is a little confusing. Ash. Yeah, Larry's gonna pick us up to go to the lake, and we said we can go back to his place after and get ready, and he'll drive us to the party from his. You. Okay, sounds great. Are you almost ready? Yes, I need help carrying stuff though. Alright, let me know when you do come. You. I set my bag down and started packing a bag. I set my phone down, sorry, and started packing a bag. Okay, focus. We were meeting the boys to carve pumpkins and then go to a party afterwards. I'd never been to a party before, and I didn't know what to expect. First, I packed my makeup and what I needed for my costume. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, so I decided to pack like I was going to a sleepover. Makeup wipes, pajamas, and a toothbrush. I also packed mints just in case. I felt embarrassed for being overly prepared. I just prayed I had everything and that night wasn't going to be a mess. Ash, hey, whenever you're done, could you come over? You. I'll be there in a sec. I double I double checked my bag and took one last look in the mirror. I went to reach for the door handle, but at the last second changed my mind. I set my bag down and set off my hoodie. I swapped mines for Sal's and started for the car. I felt nervous about my last minute decision, but it felt right. I didn't want to fuck things up like I did before. I like Sal, and I didn't want him to think I didn't like him otherwise. Knock at the door. Ash smiled. Hi, Wynan. Are you excited about our pumpkins? I entered Ash's room and sat my bag down on her bed. Yeah, I'm so stoked for tonight. I haven't had any plans like, forever. I'm hyped too. I can't wait to see your costume and you to see mine. She gathered her things onto her bed along with my bag. I kind of have a lot of stuff. I have my bag, our pumpkins, and another bag of carving knives. Oh shit, we need bags? Okay, so I'll bring trash bags too. I looked at our stuff. Jeez, so Larry is 100% cool with us bringing all this at his place? Yeah, totally. He said we could use his guest bathroom, even his room if we needed to. I sighed. Is it just me, but am I the only one nervous? Ash laughed. Oh no, it's okay, you don't have to be. Or, well, feel nervous. We're all gonna be together the whole time. Besides, Todd and Neil are skipping the party entirely. It's not really their thing. You're not alone. Some people are introverted, and that's totally fine. I exhaled again. I want to break out of my shell like you, Ash. I don't mind being introverted, but I want to try to have some fun without feeling weird about it. She smiled. I promise it'll be okay. And if it isn't, for whatever reason, we can totally come back here and hang out together, you know? I smiled. Thank you, Ash. I didn't want to pussy out, but Ash kindness did a lot of easing my mind. Oh, just got the text. Larry's here. She slung her backpack over her shoulder and grabbed the carving knife. Here, you can give me your bag, and I can carry it on my other shoulder if you want to carry the pumpkins. Oh god. I wanted to point out the fact that I have kind of music just easing a little bit in the back, and the first song that came up is I Hate My Mom, and it's on a Sally Face playlist, and this is concerning because Sal loves the hell out of his mom, so unless this can't be for Larry because Larry also loves his mom. So this could just be for like maybe Travis mom is fucking horrible just like his dad, who knows. I don't know. Theories. Let's get back onto the story. I'm getting so off track right now. Getting down the stairs was pretty scary. I knew we had a lot of stuff, but I underestimated how hard it would be to see the steps of the stairs and open doors. We probably looked really stupid for trying to take everything in one trip. When we got outside, Larry got a glimpse of us struggling. He hopped out of his car to help us, and he takes one of Ash's bags, opening his trunk. Damn, you guys are crazy. I could have just come up there to help you. Ash laughed. We're strong. I tried to strain the pumpkins any longer. Maybe you are, but I'm not. Larry, could you open the door for me? Oh, yeah, shit, of course. Quickly, he opened the back door, and I immediately tossed the pumpkins onto the seat. I got in. Thank you. And planted. Ash picked some pretty solid pumpkins. Literally. Larry closed the door for me and secured our bags in his trunk before getting in. My pumpkin's pretty cool. It's huge. Ash chuckled. That's what she said. Larry rolled his eyes. You're gonna be a troublemaker tonight. I know it. We got to Larry's apartment. The venture up the staircase was a lot easier. Larry was a big guy and was able to carry things all by himself. See? You guys needed me the first time. To be fair. He had the advantage of leaving our pumpkins in the car and only carrying our bags. Ash scoffed. Yeah. Whatever. Is Sal here yet? Yeah. He just didn't drive over here with me because he's packing stuff to go to the lake. Larry took out his keys to unlock his door, and my heart skipped a beat at the jingling sound. I was anxious to see Sal. Hey, Sal, I'm back with Wynan and Ash. Larry called out as he set our stuff down. He's most likely in my room folding blankets, probably. Yeah, I was. Sal came out of Larry's room with a stack of picnic blankets. Yeah, what's up? Hi, guys. His hair was pulled up in a messy bun, small pieces falling around his face. He was wearing a dark gray striped sweater with cuffed black jeans and black Vans. I could see Halloween-themed socks peeking out in the gap of his jeans and his shoes. It was cute that he was in the spirit. Do you have your pumpkin? Ash inquired excitedly. Sal sat the blankets down on the table with our stuff. Yeah, here. He picked up his pumpkin from a chair. It's pretty big. Ash sniffled. That's what she said. Sal gasped. Ugh, gross, Ash. I couldn't help but laugh along. Oh my god. She got both of you guys. She did that to Larry too. Larry shook his head. So are we ready to go or not? Sal nodded.
I'm all ready. Todd and Neil are gonna meet us there.
Yep, so we better get going. Larry opened the front door and we all filled our way out. Went in. Are you riding with me again? Ash turned around to look at Larry and Sal. Oh, Sal's driving by himself?
I'm gonna get ready at my place, so I'm driving home from the lake.
Sal explained. I felt a lump in my throat. I can ride with you if you want.
All right, then. We got it figured out. Let's go.
Larry passed up and headed down the stairs. Ash scuffled and followed behind. Okay, Dad. I love Ash's sassy attitude. I decided I didn't want the ride to be just awkward, even though I thought it was just Sal and I. After a little while, I cleared my throat. So, how's your midterms?
I was pretty busy. Lots of studying. I'm sure you did well.
I felt nervous now. I didn't want him to think I was trying to use small talk to avoid the tension in our last conversation. I got to ask, how long have you been making music? He laughed.
Wow, I guess a few years now. I started songwriting in high school.
I think you're pretty good. He took his eyes off the road for a second.
You think so?
I smiled. Yeah, I like the song you played for me. I felt my cheeks get hot. He laughed awkwardly.
I'm extremely glad to hear that.
We pulled up to the lake next to Larry's car.
Are you excited about the party?
I hugged my pumpkin in my lap. Yeah, a little nervous, but yeah, you? His eyes squinted.
I'm excited. It'll be a fun night. I watched his eyes scan my body. I like your outfit, by the way.
I could hear the smile in his voice. My heartbeat picked up, and I love when I can hear him smile. You guys, how can you hear someone smiling in your voice? Like, no shit. How can you hear someone smiling in their voice? Is that possible? Okay, maybe I'm just slow, but okay. We got out and Sal grabbed this pumpkin and the blankets from the back as we walked towards the lake over hill. I could see Larry and Ash talking with Todd and Neil.
Ah, yes, our blanket guy.
Larry took out a blanket from Sal's stack and laid it out. There were 3 blankets for all of us to sit and carve. It was cute watching everyone sketch out ideas on their pumpkins. Todd was doing a Minecraft jack-o'-lantern, Neil was doing a dog face, Ash and Larry were both doing something scary, and Sal was doing a classic jack-o'-lantern. I decided to give my pumpkin swirly eyes and a smugly smile. Larry was first to finish his sketch and started carving. Jesus Christ! I can't get this knife in. It's hard as a rock. I looked over at Ash, who was already holding in giggles. Ash, please. She giggled mischievously. Sal looked over at Ash. Ash, self-control. Her face was red and she was sniffling. that's what she said.
She muttered under her breath.
Larry looked up from his pumpkin with a straight face and he shook his head at Ash.
Neil, can you help me with this?
Neil tried to stab the pumpkin deep enough so Larry could start carving around the top. Watching 2 big guys struggle to carve a pumpkin was funny, and watching them game plan was even funnier. Neil looked through the carving knives. Maybe the knife needs to be a little shorter, so it's easier to stab faster?
Well, maybe if you stab a little further from the stem, the pumpkin will be softer.
Todd also walked over and offered his help too.
God damn it! Why is this so difficult?
Larry finally got his knife in, but was now struggling to carve a circle. I think you might have gotten the hardest pumpkin in the world. Ash helped up the stem and pieces of her pumpkin. Oh, I held my stem up. Yeah, Larry, I had better luck too. He groaned now, having a virtually poor Larry was the last to get his pumpkin open. The insides of a pumpkin is crazy. It's so stringy. I can't believe it grows like this. I looked over at Sal, who had pumpkin guts all over his hands. He threw a handful of pumpkin in a trash bag.
Isn't it sad? We pull out their insides just so we can put a little candle in there for decoration.
Sal sighed. Well, Ash sighed. The tragedy of a pumpkin genocide. By the end, we filled up almost half a trash bag. Pumpkin insides and everyone's pumpkin looked great. If I had to pick a winner, it would be Todd. He came prepared though. Bringing a ruler was a good idea.
Yeah, Todd does seem to plan ahead.
It was dim enough now that our candles lit up our jack-o'-lanterns perfectly. We lined them up all together underneath a tree and took dozens of photos. Some group pictures, some pictures of Todd and Neil, some pics of me and Ash, then some of Larry and Sal. We even got pumpkins of everyone holding their own pumpkin. We even got pics of people holding their own pumpkins, not pumpkins holding their own. What? Okay, anyways. It was so nice to spend time with everyone. Like this. I felt like I was a part of the family. I knew I was living in a moment. What could only be seen as a memory. Once it started to get dark, we blew our candles out and threw away our trash. Everyone held their pumpkins as we stood in a circle and said goodbye to Todd and Neil, who were leaving for the night. So, you're gonna meet us at the party? Larry loaded our pumpkins into his car. We planned to set them up on his balcony.
Yeah, I will. I think you sent me the address. Just text me when you guys are leaving so I don't have to show up all by myself.
Alright, man. See you later. Larry waved before getting into the car. See ya, Sal. We were excited to see your costume, Ash called. I smiled and waved goodbye as I got in. I was excited for the night. Okay, guys, this is part 2. And it's Sal's proof. Oh my god, voice crack. Ugh. I freaking hate voice cracks. They suck. Halloween party part 2. Sal's proof. My hands were sweaty against the steering wheel. I couldn't drive fast enough. I wanted to be home already. Being around YNN was incredibly nerve-wracking. At this point, I couldn't tell if she felt the same way, or was she just kind towards me? But was it out of pity? She was just too scared to tell me to back off. I felt so fucking confused. I never put myself out there with anyone before. YNN and I knew it was the right thing to do. I liked her too much to hide it, but damn. I couldn't help myself from wanting to know if she felt the same way. I needed reassurance or a cold shoulder. I need to know for sure. When I reached home, I wasted no time. I ran up the steps to the comfort of the gizmo. I needed a second to breathe. I was excited as fuck for the party, but a party is not my usual scene. I knew tonight was going to push me out of my comfort zone, and while I was okay with it, I needed the motivation I could to do it. I paced back and forth in my kitchen to the living room. Gizmo, I wish you could come with me. I held into my hair and sighed. Oh god. I felt like if I don't make a move tonight, things would just be awkward afterwards. Fuck. Why did I play her that song? Gizmo jumped up from the couch and rubbed against my leg. I then started to realize I was making myself into more nervous than I needed to be. Maybe I should just have fun tonight. I can't psych myself out. I sighed. Come on, Gizmo. I walked back into my room with Gizmo falling close behind. I made a face at the clothes I had laid out before going to the lake. I always felt stupid dressing up, not because I didn't enjoy it. It just felt like I couldn't. I was always limited to a character with a mask, and now I don't know. I guess I should be grateful. There's at least one night of the year that I'm not explicitly wearing a prosthetic at a Halloween party. I'm just some guy in a costume. I exhaled sharply and removed my mask before lifting my shirt above my head, beginning to change. I examined myself while my reflection, my still warm straighter among the makeup scattered across the bedroom counter. I decided to DIY a costume by painting a skeleton on a black mini dress. I had skeleton arm warmers and thin thigh hires to match. My eyes were cracked in the dark. A smoky eye, and my cheeks were hollowed out with heavy contour. I was a skeleton. Absolutely, the idea wasn't divine and being cheap or even lazy. I couldn't think of something or anything that wasn't too flashy. Tegan, okay. I looked at myself hard in the mirror and smoothed my dress. This is the best you can come up with? A house party? And this is what you wear? What is it? A 2013 Tumblr nostalgia party? I wriggled myself at the thought of walking into a house packed with people my age. It would make me feel too self-conscious. The collective indulgence of so many staring eyes, and even the eyes of those partygoers, were only imaginary. I couldn't help but feel stupid all alone in Larry's bathroom. I knew Ash would tell me that I look fine and that people weren't going to judge me. Like I had convinced myself they would, and that I don't need to force myself to go to a party at all if I wanted to. But then I thought of Sal, and I knew no matter how stupid I felt, I couldn't miss tonight. Even the nerves, I wasn't able to recognize the regret of missing any chance to go to my first party with him. Hey, can I come in? Larry shouted over the radio, but Ash told him no. Next thing I know, Ash came in, which I could hear Sanity Falls playing from the other side of the door as we got ready. I opened. She came in the door. Oh, good God. She came in. The costume looks great. I've never seen that. Oh my God. Ash, you weren't kidding. You're really good at this costume. She smiled shyly. Oh, please. Yours is cool as fuck. I shake my head. Not like yours. The detail is crazy. Ash was dressed as Coraline. Oh, that's cute. And she had it down to a near perfect match. She wore an oversized yellow raincoat with striped tights and high top Converses. She had some striped gloves and a pair of glasses with buttons glued to the lens. It was unmistakably Coraline. She rolled her eyes. Yeah, well, you look hot. So you got me beat in that category. Larry peered behind her. Hey, what about me? He held his arms out, displaying his outfit. Larry sorta just dressed as Larry, except he looked like he maybe jumped out of a moving car and wore a black, dark shirt with holes around the neck and him underneath a flan that was even more shattered. His hair was messy, and he had intense dark circles. Ash turned around, raising an eyebrow. Larry groaned. I'm a zombie? Ash and I hummed. Once Larry told us, I guess it was obvious that he couldn't just look like himself. Of course that wasn't the point. He wasn't self, just dead. That is some funny foreshadowing for Larry to be a zombie because he killed himself in the game. And he he didn't become a zombie, but he became a ghost. That is crazy foreshadowing. I don't even know if that's foreshadowing, but the fact that he's a zombie is just crazy accurate. Except not dead enough. Larry, I can make you look more dead if you want. Larry joined me in the bathroom. Oh, hell yeah. The deader, the better. Larry was so tall, I had to ask him to crouch down so I could do my thing. It was awkward at first since Larry kept staring at me, but after I told him to close his eyes, I had fun putting the makeup on him. I hollowed his cheeks like I did mine, then added purple to his dark circles. And all around his eyes, I quickly dusted a gray tone powder on his face to wash out his complexion. Okay, yeah, you look dead. I took a step back to look at him in the mirror. I took a step back to get him to look at himself in the mirror. Oh my God. He leaned forward, almost touching his nose to the glass. I'm so ready to get wasted. All of us ready. Larry texted Sal that we were about to call an Uber. My heart raced at the thought of Sal seeing me participate in Halloween. It felt embarrassing to be excited about something, but with Ash and Larry dressed up, the nerves felt quieter and were slowly replaced with excitement. Finally, our Uber arrived. It was a tight fit since none of us were brave enough to sit next to the driver in the passenger seat. Instead, we shoved ourselves into the back of a Honda Civic as the driver stared for our destination. I began to eat the mints I had loosely thrown in my pocket along with my dorm key. What? You have food? Larry stuck his hand out into my lap. I paused before placing a small mint into his palm. He squinted, trying to make out the shape in the dark, before popping into his mouth. Hopefully this isn't cushions. All this booze and I'm about to get drowned out. Ash looked over at me. That's why we're taking an Uber. Eventually we pulled into a residential road line with houses decorated for Halloween. I watched as we neared our destination. If it wasn't for the fact that this house was the most decorated out of that giveaway as a party, it was probably the blaring music and dozens of people luring the yard. Our Uber driver sighed. Alright, is this it? If I drop you guys off here? We stopped in the front yard of a driveway 2 houses down. He obviously was not fond of whatever was stirring in the front yard of our destination. Ash smiled. Of course, thank you so much. The driver smiled softly.
Yeah, no problem. You kids be safe.
We climbed out and Ash waved as the driver left. So,
Sal said that he was already here.
he says as he's waiting outside. We all looked ahead at the lawn. There were two guys wrestling shirtless in the grass.
I bet he hates us for that.
She began to walk quietly. Larry and I were falling behind. The music grew louder, and I could feel the bass shake my bones as we approached the front door. We spotted Sal sat on the front porch with a few other people, all watching the wrestling from a modest distance. She nudged him. Sal, oh my god, sorry we made you sit here in the middle of this alone. Sal stood up and greeted us, telling us how the wrestling started. My heart skipped a beat. He was dressed as Sniper Mask, just without the hat. He looked good. When we got stuck inside, I was too focused on Sal walking in front of me that I wouldn't have even noticed any judgmental stares. It was packed, just as I imagined though, and making our way to the kitchen was a slight journey. It was only 11 p.m., but a good portion of the crowd was already drunk and rowdy. Thankfully, our personal bodyguard Larry was able to cut through and pour us all a drink. We all lured in a crowded kitchen and sipped our drinks, or at least Sal and I sipped our drinks. Ash and Larry were both on a mission to party hard. I held onto my cup tightly and looked into the crowd of my peers. It was funny to me that all these people were my age. I almost felt like I didn't belong here. If it wasn't for Ash and Sal and Larry, everyone looked like they were from a movie I would have watched as a kid. They all looked so cool and grown up, but here I was one of them. It must have been the wrong moment to get snappy, but it felt so good for my new friends. Larry and Ash started to dance to the music, a groovy mix of 90s classic with the occasional 2000s indie hip to hype the crowd. These were the kids I would have invaded in high school, also cool without trying, like Ash and Larry bobbing and swaying without worrying about how they looked, because they didn't need to. They were cool enough that they could never look stupid. Well, confidence was probably only half of it. They were loosening up after the drink. Chelsea Dagger began to play, and Ash nudged me for my hand. Dance with me! I laughed and chugged the rest of my drink before grabbing her hand. She led us to the living room where the crowd was dense. Normally, I would have felt awkward, but the music was just loud enough. I was just tipsy enough, and Ash's smile was big enough, and I didn't care about anything except drinking and having fun. At the chorus, a choir of drink voices sung along. Ash and we jumped around and singing to each other, both smiling widely as possible. I looked back at Sal and Larry, who were still in the kitchen, and gave us a thumbs up. The next song was "Come As You Are," and the recognizable riff pursued Larry and Sal to join us. The living room crowd and the three of us formed a circle, all of us dancing and singing along. The song picked up and we were thrown around with the rowdy crowd, with all of us shouting and smiling, bouncing off one another as we were shoved around. The song ended. I excused myself and headed to the kitchen. I grabbed another cup and filled it up halfway. It wasn't enough to get absolutely demolished, but I couldn't lie and say it didn't feel like it. But at least tipsy. I watched Ash and Larry dance every now and then looking back at the kitchen and gave me a smile. Sal leaned against the counter next to me. Hey, I like your costume. He shouted over the music. I'm not gonna shout that, obviously. I smiled and my cheeks ached. I like yours too. Sal leaned into me. It's kinda loud. I squinted and nodded in agreement. It's a little crazy. He waved to Larry and pointed down. Larry gave a nod. Follow me. He leaded his hand before we started our way through the crowd house. Sal led us into the basement, which was dimly-light, much less crowded and not as loud. There were more plants to sit down, and it seemed like the people were calmer. It smelled like skanky, but everything considered, it was definitely a fair trade. Sal and I sat on the couch. The basement is usually where Larry and I hang out when we go to parties. I think you can see why. Sal gestured to a corner populated by a circle of people passing around a joint. It's chill here, and they were so Herrick. I felt a little awkward. I laughed slightly. Yeah, I kind of thought maybe you wanted a break. He hesitated. You know, just 'cause it's your first party and all. And that was just... And with this being a Halloween party, it's extra crowded. I nodded. I really appreciate that. I clenched my cup, letting my eyes wander around me, around the new group. So, you're Sniper Mask, right? Sal laughed. Yeah, I'm glad you knew. I was worried I looked stupid. I smiled. I was worried about the same thing, but you know, you look good. I took a sip from my cup, looking around at the bowl. Sorry, there's like a little pause and a little sigh, so I'm just getting into it. I could feel my cheeks getting hot, whether it was alcohol or Sal, I couldn't tell. Thanks, Wynon. I could hear him smiling. Did you paint that yourself? He pointed to my dress. My cheeks were getting hotter. It was definitely Sal. Yeah, I kind of ruined the dress with the paint, huh? He shook his head. You did a great job. Well, we kind of match. Both black and white, you know? I giggled. Yeah, we do. We sat down watching people smoke and talk, our shoulders barely touching, our knees gazing when neither of us stared. I swirled my drink around, about to feel restless as I became aware of my breathing. Hey, do you think I could have some? Sal pointed to my cup. Oh, yeah, of course. I handed him the drink. His fingertips just barely brushed against mine. His hands were cold and his black nail polish was chipping. I watched as he slowly lifted his mask and took a sip. I could just barely see his chin peeking out from behind his hair. I could see the butterfly tattoo on his neck. I watched his Adam's apple as he swallowed. I could still feel where his fingertips brushed against mine in exchange of my cup. Thanks, he said, handing me the cup back. I couldn't take my eyes off his hands. His chipped nail polish and silver rings, the black ink of a half-visible tattoo creeping from his sleeve. He looked so good in a suit with his messy blue hair and beat-up high-top Converses. He was a perfect image of your childhood bad boy crush. I couldn't stop thinking about his skin. It felt against mine. Bro, Wynon is a freaky... I'm joking. Hey, Sal, do you think you can help me find a bathroom? Yeah, of course. Let's go upstairs. We can look for it. Sal led us back up the stairs into what seemed like it had grown since we left. The music bass had my body vibrating again. We widened our eyes at each other and braced for a rough journey. As I followed Sal through the crowd, anxiety kicked in, and I reached out for one of his belt loops to hold onto. When we made our way to the living room, I caught a glimpse of Ash and Larry. Ash was slumped into Larry's chest, and they were both smiling and swaying to Nice Boys. I smiled to myself. I was glad to know that they were having fun too. Aw, that's cute. Oh, they're so adorable. My shalalas, my sheilas. I'm joking. What? Anyways, after making a lap around the first story, Sal took up some more stairs where we had to dodge a couple who were sprawled out in a borderline dry humping on the steps. What the okay, weird. Once we got to the second story, the crowd thinned. The majority of people were stationed along the railing, looking down into the living room. The halls were clear, though, which made it easier for us to go check doors. Finally, Sal opened a door to a bathroom. Alright, Wynon, I'll be right here, waiting for you, okay? I stood in the doorway of the bathroom and grabbed his hand, pulling him in. Come here. I locked the door behind us in the small room, only lit up by a nightlight. Sal, I have something to tell you. My heart began to pound against my ribcage. Like never before, the muffled music of the party downstairs filled the silence. Neither of us had words, too. He leaned into me and spoke softly. I'm listening. I swallowed hard. There was a lump in my throat, and the words felt impossible to form. The song you played in the car for me. Was it a confession? My eyes widened. I could barely see Sal, but I was trying hard to make out with only the dim of the glow of the nightlight. Every second that passed weighed on my chest heavier and heavier. He exhaled.
Yeah, it was a confession.
I felt him reach out for my hand, his fingers still cold. The lump in my throat felt like a rock now. Well, I guess I have a confession too. He leaned in closer, still speaking low.
Yeah?
I swallowed the rock. I think about you all the time, Sal. He squeezed my hand gently.
I was worried. I scared you.
The touch of his skin on mine felt goosebumps from all over my skin.
Is this okay?
He whispered. This is kind of like what Larry said when they were dancing. Okay, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna ruin the moment.
Yeah.
I nodded slowly. We were still in the dark, but Sal was so close now that I could make out the edges of his mask. Slowly, in a whisper, he asked,
Can I kiss you?
My stomach flipped. Please, Sal. I could hear him remove his mask and set it behind me on the counter. He reached out and cut my face. My heart pounded as I anticipated our lips meeting. When I felt his lips on mine, I felt a jolt of electricity waver through my entire body. His lips weren't completely smooth, but they were soft, and he kissed me so gently his lips just barely parted. His touch was soft too, very lightly. His hand moved from my cheek to the back of my neck, his fingers slowly gazing over my skin, giving me chills. He sneaked his other hand around my waist and pulled me closer. I couldn't think. I placed my hand on Sal's chest and kissed back harder. He pushed against me in response. His lips parted and his motion sped up. The silence was not only filled with music from the party downstairs, but heavy breathing and sounds of desperation. Sal let out a sigh.
Fuck,
He mumbled under his breath.
Should we, do you wanna leave with me?
Hey guys, yeah, he's getting good. Okay. Okay. Halloween party, final.
Do you wanna leave with me?
Sal muttered under his breath. His face wasn't even an inch away from mine, but I couldn't bring myself to look at him. Even though I wouldn't even be able to see him, I felt like I was invading his privacy. My heart pounded, and I couldn't think of anything possible if this felt real, but in the best way. I kept my eyes locked on his lips. What about Ash and Larry?
They can get a separate Uber. I can text Larry.
He trailed off, loosening his grip on my wrist.
I don't want to force you. I'm sorry.
I kept my voice hushed. Good God.
Sal, I want to come with you.
He sighed lightly, biting his lower lip. For the first time, I saw some real expression from Sal in his teeth. He reached to the corner behind me for his mask before slipping it on.
Come on.
We made our way back downstairs to the living room, still crowded and loud. The slinky smell had traveled from the basement throughout the crowd. Seems calmer, which only made better for an easy exit. I followed behind Sal as we cut through small gaps between bodies. As we sneaked through the living room, I watched Sal catch a glimpse of Larry. They exchanged waves and nods, and Larry and Ash were still glued to each other, swaying to the music. I felt less guilty for leaving now. Aw, it's so cute. Once we made it outside, we took refuge under a tree in front of the lawn. I looked back at the decorated house and tried my best to soak up every detail, trying so hard to permanently burn the exact image into my memory.
Uber's gonna be here in 10.
Sal brought his knees up to his chest and sighed.
Why didn't I'm not usually forward.
I looked back at him, wishing I could watch the expression of his face. To fully grudge his tone, I can master what he was saying, what he was feeling. But me neither. He stretched his legs out again and fumbled with grass. We sat and listened to music, mixed voices of partygoers, until our Uber arrived. 10 minutes felt like an eternity, with the still fresh excitement of kissing Sal pumping through me. With the Uber arrived, Sal opened my door for me and let me get in first. The inside of the car was warm, and the driver played the soft music. I didn't recognize when Sal got in. Reality hit me. It still didn't feel real. The smell of a stranger's car and the intimate company of Sal felt close to a dream, somewhere I've never been before and almost didn't belong. I replayed the kiss over and over.
Sal was everything I needed. He was gentle and sweet and caring. Everything he did was intentional. The way he touched me was so selfish. He touched me so that I could be touched. Not so he can touch me, but the way he asked to kiss me, it was a shared moment. Both of us invited to open up and meet in a variable position. There was no power dynamic. There was no conjuring. I looked over to Sal. His hands were clenched and his body looked tense. His hair was tousled from putting his mask back on so quickly, but he was still in his suit. When we arrived back at his place, it almost felt like as if we were moving in slow motion with his front door in sight. Every step felt a little harder. I had never been with someone alone in their context. I followed behind Sal, watching his fingers shuffle through keys before unlocking the door. My heart pounded as we entered his dark apartment. Sorry, let me turn on lights. Sal shuffled around the dark and clicked on a colored lamp, still allowing a dim light vision of the living room. Sal cleared his throat. You, wanna follow me? I nodded and trailed behind him into his room. He turned on a small light on his desk and took his jacket off. You can sit on my bed if you want. Oh, thanks. I was thanking him, but I felt nervous. I couldn't move. I hesitantly sat down, feeling stiff. He began to loosen his tie before turning to me. His shirt was still tucked in, but now unbuttoned at the top. The butterfly tattoo on his neck now visible. Would you, like something more comfortable to wear? I hummed. Sure, if that's okay. He nodded, taking off his tie completely and setting it on the back of his desk chair with his jacket. He opened a drawer, pulling out a small, folded black t-shirt. What about the bottoms? I have pajama pants and, boxers, if that's comfortable. My cheeks flashed. Boxers work. I usually sleep in shorts. Sal opened another drawer and grabbed a pair before handing me the folded clothes. You can change in here. I'll go change in the bathroom, and you can just let me know when you're done, okay? He had a nervous tone, but his voice was soft. I held the clothes to my chest. Thanks, Sal. Yeah, of course. He handed me a pile of clothes off his desk and his chair and headed to the bathroom. With Sal even gone, I felt nervous to change in his room. I also felt stupid for having to leave my sleepover bag at Leary's. So much for my preparation. I began to undress quickly, wobbling up my clothes, hiding in my bra in the middle of Sal's shirt. Had worn out, and it was very soft. Even though he was much smaller than Larry and Ash, I needed to roll up the boxers to fit better. He slipped a pair of red socks with the PJs too, thankfully allowing me to take off my stupid high tops I wore for my costume. I neatly piled my clothes on top of his dresser and took a quick look in the mirror before going to knock on the bathroom door. All done? Sal called through the door. Yeah, you can come out now. Sal opened the door, now wearing his normal mask instead of the sniper mask from his costume. Hey, are the clothes okay? I nodded. Sorry for being a bother. I packed the bag, but left it at Larry's. Thank you, though. I feel much comfortable. Don't apologize. I wanted you to be comfortable. I could hear him smile. Hey, so I laid some stuff out for you. You know, like face wash and stuff. I always had an extra just in case. Larry came here unannounced and a few times, and I learned to be prepared. But don't hesitate to ask if you need anything. My heart fluttered. Thank you. It's not a problem at all. I'll let you use the bathroom. I'll be in my room. I could hear he was still smiling. It felt relieved that he seemed to be more relaxed. I was so grateful for Sal's kindness. He had laid out face wash, a towel, toothpaste, a new toothbrush, and hairbrush. Being able to wash my makeup off and brush my teeth, even needing to act, and the feeling consensual dread of implying was a giant wash to my shoulders. Only someone as kind as Sal would consider someone possession. I was thankfully looking at the setup on his counter. I realized I have never been cared for like this. I was overflowing with emotion between the tension of our kiss and the intensity of being his guest. I couldn't handle my tenderness of this realization with my head on the doorknob. I took a deep breath and started for Sal's room. Sal popped his head up from the pillow. Hey, all clean? I smiled and nodded. Yeah, I feel better. That's good. His voice was bright. What do you want to watch something? Maybe we could play Mario Kart. We can do whatever you want, really. I imagined a smile underneath his mask, and I felt a lump in my throat, and tears began to sting. Sal? I was choking on my words as I felt the tears well up from the past, the point of no return. Whoa, hey, whine in, what's wrong? Sal sat up and rushed to me, placing his hand on my shoulder. Hey, no, don't cry, I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? The lump was too much for me to say anything. I could only shake my head. Sal covered his hands with my sleeves in an attempt to wipe my tears. Even though they wouldn't stop, I could feel my body shake as I cried harder. Whine in. It's okay. Everything's alright. Sal pulled me into his chest and rubbed my back. I tried my best to slow my breathing, but the nerves of crying in front of Sal only made me feel more overwhelmed. Fuck. Sorry, this is so stupid. It's not stupid to be upset. He continued to rub my back. I'm just so sorry. I hope I didn't upset you. I pulled away, still feeling shaky but slightly contained. The lump started to dissipate. I shook my head again, wiping my tears. No, Sal, you didn't upset me. I'm sorry. I just don't know how to explain it. I looked down. I felt too embarrassed to make eye contact. Here. Sal pat the spot on his bed. I sat down, dabbing my eyes. The stuff, set out for me in the bathroom. You're so kind. I don't know. I sighed. I haven't felt cared for and wanted in a long time. Oh no. Wyndon has a sad backstory. Can't even but this. Sound like my Sally face, OC. Good God. I was still looking down at my lap, but I could feel Sal's gaze on me. Oh, that's sad to hear. I'm sorry. I felt like I ruined the night. No, of course not even a little. I just wanted to spend time with you. That's all I care about. I don't care what we do. He paused. I am still a little worried about you, though. I'm sorry. I promise I'm alright. Your kindness is just so touching. I finally met Sal's gaze. I, don't have a lot of friends, and my family's complicated. It was kind of starting to feel like I didn't exist. I could see the worry in his eyes. You have us now. I promise you do. I don't know how you do it, Sal. You're so positive. He chuckled. Well, it's kind of the only way I think it is. If I wasn't so positive, I wouldn't be here. I looked deeper into his eyes. They were really blue. After my mom died, my dad drank a lot. The whole thing was hard for a long time. Mourning my mom, raising myself, dealing with this. He gestured to his mask. I was a completely different person, and at the time, it felt like it was gonna last forever. But it didn't. I met Ash and Larry. My dad got better. Of course, the recovery wasn't instant, and it almost hurt. For things to get better, for me to move on. But I didn't know. That's kind of the only choice, and I think you know. Your explaining is only the beginning of recovery. I laughed. Oh my god, did you just diagnose me? Free of charge. I gave her a smile, but really, you have people that care about you. I watched his eyes soften, and I smiled back and looked directly at my feet. Sal? Yeah? My heart skipped. Can I, kiss you? I looked up at him. He was already looking at me. I'm gonna have to take off my mask. Is that okay? I held my gaze, feeling my pulse quicken. His eyes were so pretty, and all I wanted to do in that moment was to see him fully and feel his warmth again. I nodded. Yes, I whispered. He looked at me deeply for a second before sighing. Fuck, I'm nervous. Nothing would ever change how I feel about you, Sal. His eyes furrowed. Okay. He took a deep breath in and reached around unbuckling the first strap and then the second and held his mask to his face. And then took my hand and replaced his. Here, you take it off. My face was on fire. I was holding his mask up, Now, really? Please, I don't know if I can do it myself. Okay. I could feel my hands start to shake as I slowly lowered his mask. I lowered it to reveal his eyes. Only, I like your eyes so much. His eyes squinted slightly. He was smiling. I was going to finally see. I'm gonna lower it now completely, okay? I could see his eyes shift as he looked at me. Okay. Slowly, I revealed his face entirely. My heart pounded. Sal was smiling at me. His fringe was messily framing his face, and his eyes were bright, no longer hidden in a shadow. I couldn't look at him carefully enough. I felt like I was seeing something out of a dream. Sally, you're so pretty. His eyes were glossy. You're gonna make me cry. I washed his mouth as he spoke. He was real, and he was in front of me. I want to kiss you, I whispered. Yeah? So bad. Our eyes were locked, and it only felt like time stood still, as if the world only consented of us. Sal leaned in, and I met him in the middle, pushing my lips against his. Sal responded instantly, recultivating with more force than before. I parted my lips, first inviting him to pursue deeper and hungry kisses. Without music playing, I could hear small noises from Sal, between heavy breaths and needy sounds. Drove me crazy. Only encouraging more, intensely making out with Sal in this way, only created a new feeling of desperation. I couldn't get enough of him. I needed him closer and closer. I moved my hands to his hair, grabbing on and pulling him onto me. I could feel his body move against mine to the rhythm of our kisses. I took his hand, placing it on the side of my torso underneath my shirt. Another needy sound escaped from Sal as his hand followed the shape of my waist. His tongue swept between our parted lips, licking my top lip. I lightly bit his lower lip in response. He pulled away, causing his breath, before gently pushing onto me until I was on my back and he was on top. Bro said I was not about to get topped. Hell no. Looking down at me, he spoke in a raspy voice. You look good in my boxers. I smiled. So do you. His weight felt good on me. I wanted him close. I do love a pretty boy in PJs. He smiled back. And I love your smile. He laughed. You're making me shy. I only watched her smile through your eyes, and even then I always knew it was pretty. He leaned down and kissed me softly before rolling down and laying next to me. So, it's okay? My face. I turned into my side to look at him. More than okay. It feels like a dream. Okay, so next chapter is called Burning. I wonder what happened with Ash and Larry. Well, that just happened. I'm glad I'm not stuttering like I did in my last recording. That would have been horrible. Anyways, let's continue. Burning. Tells proof. Immediately after I came home from dropping off Wayne at our dorm, the weight of the night before hit me like a tidal wave. I unstrapped my mask and set it down on my bedside table. My body sunk into the bed, encouraging Gizmo to pounce beside me, resting his head on my chest. I sighed and watched Gizmo head rise with my inhale. My body felt like it was thousands of pounds, but weightless. From the moment I met Wayne, there was this warm energy invigorated between something deep inside me. I couldn't describe how she made me feel, but the feeling wouldn't stop burning. It wouldn't stop getting stronger. I beat myself up for months, worrying about containing the spread, trying to slow the burn. Every time we would meet to work together, I found myself falling victim to her again and again. I was amazed by her reading, her work. I couldn't help myself. I admired her every thought, and it was impossible to ignore her. Her eyes lit up when she spoke with passion. Wayne understood the world in such a way that I almost felt connected to her. Now I knew the connection was mutual. I put my headphones in and closed my eyes. When she pulled me into the bathroom, it felt good to be true. After playing her confession, I wasn't even sure if she offered a response. If she did, I would have died out of simple. I felt the same way, or a sign of her consideration. But a kiss? My heart skipped a beat, recalling the feeling of her lips. The touch of her skin was on mine. She was so soft, even the way she tugged at my hair. Her touch drove me insane. I was falling deeper and faster. Wynon was smart, but now I couldn't resist the desire. She was beautiful. The only way she smiled had me in a chokehold. I had this image of her in the lake burned into my mind. She was carving pumpkins, laughing at Ash. That's what she said, joke. It was cute to see her loosening up, laughing wholeheartedly at something so stupid. She looked at Ash, smiling wildly, her hair falling messily around her face. And then she turned to me. Her eyes lit with mine as she was lost in the moment, only mindlessly holding the gaze while I was in entrance. The setting sun warmly in her lit eyes, so vibrant and alive. The vision was vivid enough I swear I could hear her laugh. I smiled to myself. The image morphed, and she was in my head-printed costume. I stood in the kitchen with Larry when we watched the girls dance in the crowd, watching her lost in the music. Her hair swaying against her body. That smile made me weak. I thought back to the first time I had seen her. She was timid, but her spark had always been there. The way her eyes carefully observed everything in sight, I knew we shared something deeper. My nerves were finally settled. My intuition had been right. Now I just couldn't wait to see her. I wanted to know everything about her. I needed more. I needed to make her feel at least half as safe as she made me feel. She deserved the comfort she gave me. I thought about the way she treated me the first time meeting me. She was so indifferent and relaxed in my life. Comfortable. First impression was Solomon, but Wynon was different. Her heart had no malice to reveal herself in the most vulnerable way, yet receive affection and kindness. Feeling accepted, there was an understatement. For the first time, I felt seen. I felt beautiful. She made me feel beautiful. That's sweet. Aw, the first breath after suffocating. This is an absolutely crazy title, but you get the point. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we got class partner, Lavender 1, Lavender 2, It's a Fin, Bad Liar, the end of November, part 1, the end of November, part 2, the end of November, part B, finals week, bad at hiding, Snowfall, the cabin 1, Flowers Will Grow. Yeah, we're like really close to the end, chat. Oh lord. Maybe I can finish this all in one part. Who knows? Okay. Alright, here we go. Ash. So, what do you think of the party? Ash sat down in front of me with a plate of pizza. It was Monday night, and we were seriously boat beating. Going back to classes after a weekend that wasn't exactly easy. I snapped my juice. It was really fun, Ash. Thanks so much for taking me. She took a bite of her pizza and shook her head. Yeah, save your thank yous. I want to know what you really thought of your first party after. All right. Yeah, I smile shyly. Okay, it was great. Actually, I've never been around that many people before, let alone loose like that. She smiled. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. So, would you go again? I frowned my eyebrows. Oh god, of course. Actually, please. I'm so glad you liked it. I was kind of worried that you didn't since you left so early. She eyed the pizza on her plate, trying to decide which piece should be her next. My cheeks flushed. Oh, no, I loved it. I got a little overwhelmed and started to get crowded. She nodded. Yeah, Larry said Sal took you to the bathroom and then he got an Uber. I was like, what? I felt so bad. I was so busy dancing and to be there. I was too busy dancing and I wasn't there for you. But Sal's like that too. He usually hides in the basement of the place or just straight up leaves. Yeah, I was thankful he wasn't mad that I made him leave early too. I looked at the food lines, trying to direct my eyes somewhere else. I loved Ash, but I was worried about her reading my mind or something. She pushed her plate away. I'm stuffed. Are you thinking about getting something else? I shook my head and looked down at my plate. I only ate half of what I had gotten, and I had been distracted like this all day. It was hard to stop thinking about Sal. I'm good. Sal raised an eyebrow. Whining. You barely ate, though. I hummed. I had lunch. I was lying, but it was harmless. What? Eating without me? She faked a pout. I rolled my eyes. You survived, didn't you? She grabbed her dish and stood up. Psh, barely. After we dropped our dishes off, we headed to the dining hall. The sun was down, but it was early. One of my favorite things about the colder seasons. Ash groaned. Ugh, I feel like every week drags. I'm just constantly waiting for the weekend. I know, I just don't know how people work their whole lives. We vaguely walked towards the stairs that led up to the rooms. Ash muttered, "Oh god, don't scare me like that. I'm gonna have nightmares." I laughed. "I'm sorry, Ash. We'll be okay. Are you heading to bed?" "Yeah, I have an early class tomorrow." She walked past me, stopping in front of her door. "Unfortunately." I gave her a sad face. "That sucks. I guess I'll see you tomorrow then." She nodded. "For sure." "You can never get rid of me." I wouldn't want to. I gave her a smile. "Alright, Ash, sleep well." I gave her a little wave before we returned to our rooms. I took off my jacket and changed into my PJs. Once I brushed my teeth and turned off the overhead light and plugged in my pink staring lights, I climbed into bed and piled onto the blankets. My room was always so cold. Not that I minded, but it definitely took a fluffy bed to survive comfortably, but I put my headphones in and listened to some soft ambient music to relax. I swiped out the Spotify on Instagram. I wasn't much of a social media user, so I just absorbed photos and posts. It felt so weird to look at faces I knew in high school. All those names I once heard every day looked so far removed, both physically and mentally. Not only was I far from home, but I felt like I've grown up so much. If I were to go home now, no one would recognize me. I started to think about home. I didn't talk much to my parents anymore. My mom called frequently enough to fulfill the oblige "how's school" or "how are you doing, are you okay" script of a parent. My dad, however, never called me. I can't say I mind it honestly. My growth may actually be a direct result of his lack of contact. Though he was never physically abusive as I grew up apart from home, I found myself blaming past conflict on him more and more, rather than continuing to blame myself than I always had. My dad had never gave a shit about me. He wanted to control me with angry outbursts and consoled remarks. He cut me off before leaving, insecure and insulted. My dad was just bitter about his own life. Understood why deep down I did, but meeting Sal, I began to see that recovery meant letting go of rearrestment. My dad, on the other hand, had never learned acceptance. This breakthrough now settled my boundaries. A tough life only excuses you so much. My dad would never change, and there was nothing left for me to go back home to. I swiped out of Instagram and making a mental note to unfollow high school pillars. Didn't talk too much to my parents anymore. My mom called frequently enough okay, never mind. Sorry guys, I heard that part. Looking up at the ceiling, I felt something new. I could feel myself growing in unimaginable ways. I closed my eyes and imagined myself as a tree, my branches extending in all directions, tunerless, taking up more space than ever. I imagined blossom fruits, feeding grateful animals, my existence fulfilling myself and those deserving of those sustenance. My mind was racing apathetically. I've never felt this before. I felt every ounce of my being radiating with life. I felt a whole person with a whole functioning mind and body capable of doing whatever I wanted. I was no one else's but my own. I belonged only to myself, and I was whole. There was no emptiness between me and the next person. My life felt pre-calmed, and infinitely seemed less flowing. Now to think of my father's harsh words and the state fulfilled by an anger that grew to determination. All the nights of sleep interrupted by my restless mind were never my fault. I never deserved the childhood of fear. I never deserved to fall asleep on the sound of yelling. I never deserved the bullying from someone instantly more power than I deserved. I deserved more than it. I deserved someone I never deserved to be called something such as useless. Ding! I opened my eyes to read one text from Sal, lit up my screen. Instantly a wave of electricity washed through me, and I sat down before unlocking my phone. "Hey, you awake?" My body threshed with excitement. I threw the covers off of me and constantly pulled my headphones off my ears, sending my phone flying. Frankly, I jumped out of bed to receive my phone. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. What do I say? Yes, I'm awake, but oh god, how do I sound? I'm not shitting myself. I paced back and forth, with my fingers hovering over the letters, over the keyboard. I couldn't get myself to think, let alone type.
Sal and I talked just fine, not even a week later, and now I'm losing all the words in my head. Me. Are you? Hey, what's up? Backspace, backspace. Fuck, am I serious? An explanation mark and smiley face? Get a grip. Sounding like Larry now. Yeah, everything okay? Backspace, backspace. Jesus Christ, do you want him to think you hate him? Hi. Send finally, I exhaled. I wasn't pleased with my response, but at this point, 2 letters weren't my best option. I picked my headphones up and played something to get my mind off what about extra. Holy shit. I was losing my mind only over 4 words. I was thinking about Sal nonstop. Of course I wanted this, but I was scared. It was so much easier to do this with the excitement of a party encouraging environment for Cade, but there was no excitement in my room. I only had my own company, which the exact opposite of exciting. Ding. Sal, I can't sleep. What are you doing? Oh shit, fuck, be honest. Right, typing wasn't easier. My hands were shaking. I pressed each key. Nothing. Is everything okay? Send. Whoa, Pew, are you kidding? Nothing, everything? You can have proofread? I'm not double texting to fix that. Oh god, this is stupid shit. Sal. Just a little lonely. Do you want to come over? I ripped my headphones out purposely this time before throwing them at my bed and essentially monologuing, screaming a million different words and screaming, pacing back and forth. Wasn't helping. Oh my god, I'm gonna pass out. I sat at my desk and stared at the message. What the fuck? What does that mean? Come over. I dug my nose and my palms screeching over for the ground land. I wanted to see Sal since I left him, but I was thinking about that. I would have answered. Me. Yes. Are you? In less than a minute, I respond. Sal, I'll come pick you up. I was no less than nervous than when he first texted. If anything, the nerves were getting worse. I watched the minutes pass by, knowing that Sal would be on his way in real time. Causing under my breath, I checked myself in the mirror, making sure I was surely ready to meet Sal. But I had taken my makeup off and gotten ready for bed. There wasn't much to look at. Sal had seen me without makeup already on the night of the party, but this felt different. No party, no outside excitement or distraction us from reality. I knew Sal wouldn't judge me, but my nerves convinced my insecurities. There was a simple infatuation. All I could sit and watch. Hey, I'm here. I sighed and checked my phone pockets before I left. Keys and ID. I sighed again, wishing there was something else to stall me from heading downstairs to Sal, but there wasn't anything. So I left my room hesitantly and made my way through the hall. My heart pushed against my ribs after the ask, "Are we okay?" Of course the answer was yes, but Sal's car came into view and the answer wasn't solid. He was leaning against the car window, waiting for me. Hi there. I got it. He opened the passenger seat, allowing me in. I watched him circle the car to the driver's side. He was wearing a black t-shirt. I cleared my throat. So, couldn't sleep? He hummed and started the car. Not really. Kinda happens when I'm worked up about something. I eyed him in my parental. Is it school? Not really. The grip was tight on the steering wheel and he spoke slowly. Oh, by the way, what's up with the typos? You okay? My eyes widened and I turned to the window, away from his gaze. Yeah, I was like, half asleep, you know?
Sure, man. Half asleep. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Great, you made him feel bad. Does that make you feel happy, liar? No, you didn't promise. I mean, like, I was relaxed as well on the exact opposite of what I was actually feeling. Oh, God. Okay, if you promise. I hummed in agreement. The silence wasn't comfortable, really, but my brain was too scrambled to feel anything right now. Sal didn't bother to turn on the radio either, so my lack of substance wasn't really composed. Thanks, Sal. Do you have class tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so yeah, stop. Don't be so sassy. Yeah, I do. He nodded. Me too. Small talk with Sal was more uncomfortable than silence, but I started to recognize the houses, so we didn't have much longer of the ride. Finally, I felt relief, but we headed up the stairs to Sal's apartment where we were to be alone. No change in independent Valerie's. It wouldn't be so much different from the car ride. Once we entered Sal's place, Gizmo meowed and rubbed up against Sal's leg. He's clingy. Sal sat down to search Gizmo head. Come on. He led into the living room before sitting down on the couch and clicking on the colored lamp to position his right. I followed and took the opposite side of the couch. Do you sleep early? Sal looked at me. Yeah, I'm usually asleep by 11.
I clicked my phone on the clock. Flash 9:40, 9:40 p.m. I turned to him. What about you? He laughed. Well, I've been bad about it, and it's normally around 2 a.m. when I fall asleep. You don't get tired during the day? He chuckled again. I'm kind of always tired. I smiled and nodded. I could feel myself staring at, even though I desperately wanted to make the end the awkward tension. I didn't understand why I was claiming down. I wanted to be with Sal. You want to listen to music? He handed me his phone before standing up to turn on the stereo. I held his phone looking down. I hope you don't hate it. The soft melody of 𝐏𝐀𝐑𝐓-𝟒 death metal began to play through the speakers. Finally, some sound to fill the still air. Sal nodded in his head. Oh yeah, I like this song a lot. I smiled. Me too. Sometimes I get so into music I end up wishing my life could be as good as the song sounds. Does it not? I looked down before turning to Sal. Maybe sometimes. Sal paused. Are you happy here? Like just 'cause you're so far from home and all? I scoffed. It's funny you ask. I was just thinking about that tonight. My eyes wandered around Sal's apartment. The warmth of the realization washed over me. I was far from home, and things weren't the same as they were before. Yeah, I'm happy here. Actually, happier. Sal paused again for a second before speaking. What was home like? Oh well, I sighed, trying to relieve the tension building in my chest. It wasn't nothing like this. It was more peaceful or enjoyable. I mean, there was a lot that held me down at home. I don't know if I was ever really changing. But that's changing? I looked up to meet Sal's eyes. I think so. His eyes squinted. I'm happy to hear that. Feeling suffocated is hard. I'm glad you got out. His voice was sweet. He genuinely sounded happy for me. I smiled back, but a teeny bit of guilt bit at me. I'm glad I got out too, but I'll have to go back home sometimes. My family just don't disappear. I stopped myself and laughed awkwardly, attempting to lighten the conversation. I'm sorry, we don't have to talk about me. Sal shook his head. No way, Nan. I like hearing about you talk. I kind of want to know more about you, like... So, don't stop. I want to hear. I felt my face lit up. Well, I guess I'm just kind of in a limbo right now. I'm here, far from home, far from judgment of my family, which is great. I love it here. Like I said, more comfortable. It's just a lack of fear. I'm worried that when I see my family again, I'll be ashamed for growing like it's a selfish choice. And I don't know if me growing without them feels like intimidating. I never felt happy at home. The tension in my chest disappeared, and I looked up to Sal for reassurance, and I haven't overshared. Of course, his eyes were widened with interest. Damn, you really have a good grasp on the situation, huh? I laughed. Yeah, I think a little too much. His eyes squinted again. Well, if you ever want to talk instead of think, I'm a good listener. Alright guys, so we have class partner is the next one. Salzburg. And after that we have Lavender Part 1 and then 2, Bad Liar, into November, sorry, not September. So I think I'm gonna stop at Bad Liar. Yeah, because I don't want this to be too long. Salzburg. The week couldn't have gone slower. Wynan had finished her paper and I was happy for her. It meant no more scheduled meetups if I wanted to see her now. It would have to be constantly inhabited. And yeah, we had kissed, and yeah, I had invited her over, but I felt like I was hitting a wall. Of course I knew she didn't hate me. We would have already crossed that bridge of admitting mutual feelings, but we were in the gray area of figuring out what to do with those feelings. A lot of weekdays were spent alone, and I was starting to feel angsty. I was stuck with my racing thoughts and self-doubt. I couldn't stop thinking of Wynan, and while I never minded with the thought of her, I was driving myself crazy. I wore the shirt I gave her to sleep in 3 times this week. 3! And I had to be honest. I had it on as soon as she left. I was frustrated. I stopped my pacing and pulled out my phone. Larry was off work today, and I made the executive decision to finally reach out for some advice. How much I really still feel fuzzy. Larry. Well, Sal.
Hey, Larry Bear. Larry. Oh, please don't. What's up? Want to get pizza tonight? If it's half off on Fridays. Dude, I thought you'd never ask. You have no faith in me anymore, huh? Want to hang out like in an hour? WW, yes. I rolled my eyes at Larry grammar game lingo. Me, alright, POG. I threw my phone on the couch and started cleaning my room. Gizmo followed behind me until he jumped up into my bed and dozed off on my pillow. I figured it was nice enough to at least open my window and let out some fresh air. My room was freshly clean, but I still had the PJs mine and borrowed, folded into my dresser. They were my clothes, so they didn't look out of place, but I decided to move the pile to my closet just to be safe. I brought the clothes to my face. They didn't smell like her anymore. It had been only doing this every time. I passed my drawer. I felt weird about it, but it was hard to ignore the traces of her she had left behind, which reminded me to clean the bathroom and hide away the toothbrush I had lent her. I love Larry, I really do, but he wouldn't leave me alone if I admit I had her over. Larry. I'm here, love bug. I opened the door to see Larry holding a case of beer and Mountain Dew. Dude, I'm so glad you wanted to get pizza. I'm craving it so bad. He strolled in, sitting in the cases down in the kitchen. As you can see, I got us some refreshments. I can't believe you're still on that Mountain Dew kick, dude. I've been down to unpack the cans on the fridge. I can't believe you're not. Larry, I stood up and turned to him. Do you drink water, like, ever? Hey, that's not something you say to someone who just brought you beer. I rolled my eyes and continued to unpack the cans. Do you want to order the pizza or Hey, yeah, I have a large pepperoni pizza and a brownie. Yeah, cash. Okay, thanks. Oh, okay. I closed the fridge and headed to the living room. I guess it's time for some smash. Oh, buddy, we're on the same wavelength right now. Larry plopped down next to me to be grabbing the second controller. It really wasn't surprising that Larry kicked my ass every time we played, but I wanted to at least put up a fight. Hey, quit spamming! I hit a combination attempting to prologue my loss and attended the game. It's not spamming, it's technique. One more hit and the game was over. God, I think I'm starting to get tired of losing. Larry smiled and pat me on the back. Oh, come on, champ. You'll get there. Larry, I growled. Thankfully, we were interrupted by a knock at the door. Larry jumped up, grabbing the cash he had set on the table. You can keep the change. Larry turned around with the large pizza box and a smile. Oh, I love this shit. I got his plates, and we took a few pizzas to the couch before flicking on the TV. Larry and I had already watched Always Sunny back in high school. It was our go-to. It made me laugh how much Dennis reminded me of him. So, how's work? Larry turned to me to open up a can of soda. Well, I asked, how's work? Oh god. It's fine. Larry was chipping on beer and downing slices after slice. I miss you guys though. Work's kinda hard. Feels like it's taking over my life. I'm really stoked that we all went to the party last weekend. I felt like we need that. I nodded. Yeah, we should do it again. Soon I pushed my mask up and took a bite of my pizza. I couldn't figure out how to bring the subject of needing girl advice without it sounding like a complete out of place. You talked to anyone at the party? What, girls? I swallowed hard. That was not a smooth transition. Yeah. Larry shook his head. Nah, man. I'm not really looking for someone new right now. New? What do you mean new? I shrugged. Okay. I guess I'm just a step ahead of you then. Sal? What the fuck does that mean? He took a sip from his can and laid back, looking at me intensely. Well, I mean, I'm probably having more luck with girls than you are. Larry frowned and his brows getting more rolled up. He was definitely the best approacher. Oh, please. No way that's true. Believe it or not, it's true. I shrugged. I had to egg him on. Leaving him to squeeze out information out of me was the only way I could possibly have this conversation. Okay, fine. I'll bite. Who is she? This was more hard part. I had to date her from any conventions of pinning mine as a subject. Well, she's in one of my classes this semester, and We're partners for a project. That's not completely a lie. Caddy? Take another swing. And I guess that's kind of it. He pointed at me and let out a loud laugh. See? You're just as gameless. No, actually, no more. You got your target. You could just move in, see? I could teach you a thing or two. The irony of that sentence while actively being trickled. Right, and what would you do? Larry grabbed the bounty and looked back again with a thoughtful look on his face. You gotta drop some hints first. Well, and first and most, then you know. And you chewed on something more thoughtful. Well, you gotta ask her, like alone, hence even sometimes you gotta make yourself stand out as something more than a friend or a class partner. So, I say something along the lines of, hey, you're pretty cool, wanna get pizza tonight? It's half off. You're trying to bag me? Yes, but if you're trying to talk to a chick you barely know, then no, sorry. I shook my head. You're right. I'm gameless. Nah, come on, man. That's not true. I'm just playing with you. He sat up and placed his elbows on his knees. I'm serious about getting her along. If you're along with her and you open up, show her something more than, I'm just your upright partner for this project, I'm sure something will happen naturally. Yeah, I muttered under my breath. Cornership is hard, but I know you'll get there. I mean it. If you like her, I'm sure there's something different about her, and I don't know. Well, shit happens like that, and you're on the wavelength. Does it come naturally? How do you know? Larry tensed up and gazed at the television. I'm just, know it all. Fuck. I guess Larry was some help, but not enough. Asking her out seemed obvious. I didn't know where to go from there. I didn't know how forward to be. I didn't know how forward she wanted me to be. I mean, I had no experience in romance. How fast did people usually move? I mean, some banged on the first date and never gave a label to it, while others got married only a month later. I felt so stupid. I was literally studying how the mind worked, and yet here I was mentally decomposing over a girl I liked. I just deep down know I wouldn't ever give myself up if I fucked this up. I wouldn't forgive myself if I fucked this up. But I didn't know how to not fuck it up. I just couldn't trust myself enough to let things happen usually naturally like Larry suggested. Because honestly, I had never been so emotional driven before. I had always been reserved, never ignorant to push time to move faster. But I was becoming obsessed with little experience and too much anxiety. I was completely clueless. Well, I guess I'll ask her out. Alright guys, Lavender Part 1. And did I say I was gonna talk after Lavender? No, bad liar. Interesting. We're getting interesting. Brother? I hear brother. Sorry, I hear my brother outside my door. Alright. Before I die, I'd like to do something nice. Okay, anyways. Wayne improved. He basically telling me that if I join this stupid honor society, I'll have a better chance at getting on at an internship, and then went on and on about how good it would look on a resume. I didn't have to hear to tell him I just don't give a shit about Wayne, and you're not even listening. I snapped my gaze back to Ash. No. I was like, yeah, I heard you. The internship and the resume. She shook her head. It's okay. I was boring myself anyway. I understand. She slumped down at her desk. I was sitting on her bed. This all kind of sucks, huh? Like the responsibility of thinking about our futures. My eyes shifted back down to my phone and I nod. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world. So, hey, what's up? You know what? Her head flung up, and I quickly tucked my phone under my leg to meet her eyes. We're not partying enough. We're off to a good start. At the beginning, we're losing time. It's already November. Maybe this weekend? My phone buzzed under my leg. If the test goes well, then yes, but I've been studying all week, and if my test doesn't go well, you don't want to see me drinking. I pouted. Oh, Ash, you're a professional. Your professor asks you to join an honors society. You're gonna do fine, girl. She nodded. You're right. I'm just so worn out already. She closed her laptop and stacked her books on top. I guess I'm gonna go get sleep for tonight. I can't study anymore. Okay, Ash. I jumped down from her bed. I'll see you soon, though. Text me about your tests. Your tests. I'm here for you. I gave her a stern look. She smiled back. Alright, whining. I need the support. Always. Good luck. The weekend is near. We waved goodbye, and as soon as she closed the door, I dashed down to my room. I plopped onto my bed to check my phone. Sal had been texting me in Ash's room. I was trying to resist drawing the attention to the notification. Sal, I had been missing you. My heart nearly just flew out of my chest. Me? Really? Yeah, really. So, you free tomorrow? Yeah, after 5. So, what do you want to do? Something maybe like a date? A smile crept over my face as I typed. Oh, that sounds nice. Cool, I'll pick you up at 6. Perfect. Can't wait to see you. I lowered my phone and fell back into my pillow. My cheeks were aching from the strong smile plastered on my lips. My mind was racing. I was obviously excited to go on a date with Sal, but it was also my first date, like ever. I've never been the romantic type. I was too reserved to ever fantasize about being loved. I always watched from the sidelines, cheering my friends on, and while I never minded the lack of romance since I had met Sal, I found myself becoming addicted to the warm feeling of crushing. The mix of excitement and nerves made me feel alive. Like I was finally exploring life. Instead of observing, the only thing I was actually worried about was how little I knew about our date. It was a very vague plan. It could mean anything. I stared at my ceiling, mentally trying on outfit after outfit. I sighed. I actually wanted to look pretty. I constantly wanted Sal to think I looked pretty. I turned to look over and set my alarm tomorrow. It was Thursday. So by 2 classes done by 3 p.m., get back to my dorm by 3:30, with an hour and an hour to get ready. I made a note to text Ash get luck before our test. The excitement was picking up. I knew this weekend would be fun as long as Ash passed her test and I didn't somewhat fuck up my date with Sal. I sighed again, trying to relax my mind. Finally, my thoughts got fuzzier and I drifted off. Surprisingly, I woke up to the sound of Ash's alarm clock instead of mine. She probably woke the entire hall up too. I didn't blame her though. Her test was important and I knew it was a full volume do or die alarm. I woke up an hour early than I had planned to. I was groggy and rubbed my eyes and stretched. I haven't slept very lightly. My dreams were wild when my nerves were high. Ash. Well, you. Good luck, Ash. You got it. Ugh. I groaned before throwing the covers over and holding on to the bed. Only 2 classes. I'll be done soon. I tried to make myself feel better about the day I had ahead of me, because as soon as I woke up, all I could think about was my date with Sal tonight. It's only 2 classes, and the day would be over soon. The day was not over soon. My first class had an attendance grade, and my second constant of a peer event. Our research period for an hour, 30 minutes, I was reviewing someone else's 10 pages, and then reviewing the edits I received on my own. The clock just couldn't move fast enough. The day was not over soon. My first class had an attendance grade, and my second consisted of a peer. Oh my god. The stuttering. The evaluation of research papers for an hour and 30 minutes. I was reviewing someone else's 10-page paper and then reviewing the edits I received on my own. The clock just couldn't move fast enough. Thankfully, the edits on my paper were kind. However, my clouded mind made the words on the pages look more like Egyptian prints than my English. Once the clock tickled down to 4:30, I was out of there, fast as I was the first one to return my paper to the professor's desk and the first one out the door. The bitter air was a slap in the face, but nevertheless, I moved as fast as I could. I wanted to get back to my dorm and focus on getting ready for my date. I was out of breath by the time I got to my dorm hall, but I couldn't stop. I swiftly made my way down the hallway and nearly ran. Wait in! I spun around to see Ash, coming up to the stairs. Oh, Ash, I love you so much, but not right now. You won't believe it! My test! She let out a huge sigh. Okay, so here's the first part of the test. It was multi-choice, right? It was so easy. Honestly, I was just doubting myself. After circling
after circling every single answer on my... Oh my god, I thought I was doing it all wrong. Then the second part, Jesus Christ, it was all short answer. My hand was cramping so bad, and I was running out of time. My writing was impossible to read. I'm so scared he's gonna debut my points because of it. She stopped and only took a few breaths. Oh my god, I'm winded. Okay, but wait. Ash, please. God help me. Hope this girl finishes her story. God, are you listening? Hello? So I took out the test early today, right? Well, I took the test early today, right? Well, my professor already graded the multi-choice session, and my grade is actually in the grade book, but I couldn't look at it. I'm too scared. My mind was racing, and I could feel my body desire to turn back around and turn to my room. I could be here with you while you, check. Will that help? She smiled. She smiled weirdly. Oh, whining. That would help tons. I nodded, still feeling the pull of desire to dash on Ash. Go for it. Please go for it. Go for it now. Quickly. Ash took her phone out, clicking her way through the school's login page. Okay, here I go. She sighed and clicked one last time. Oh my god. Her face dropped. What is it? What is it? She shook her head. It's loading. I sucked my teeth, not even out of sympathy. I was genuinely on the same page of impatience as her. I looked down the hall, gazing at my door. Come on, stupid internet. This dumb dorm hall and its 20-year-old wiring. Couldn't get an internet connection from this century? I mean, okay, come on. This is school, for God's sake. Surely they could fix it or something. I got a perfect score. I wiped my head back to Ash, who was beaming from ear to ear. My heart fluttered for her. Oh my god, Ash! I grabbed her by her shoulders and pulled her into a hug. Good job! You see? Your professor was right. You're so fucking smart. I could feel her hug me back, smiling in my hair. Oh god, that loading page felt like an eternity. I laughed. Yeah, no kidding. So we're celebrating, right? She pulled away, still smiling. Of course, but geez, I'm so tired. Both mentally and physically. I studied my ass off, and you wouldn't guess how early I got up this morning. Now I know. 6 o'clock on the dot. Trust me, I heard. I laughed, but for real, you deserve to rest. We'll party hard tomorrow, in your honor. I can't wait. Are you busy tonight? Maybe we could watch a movie or something. My eyes trailed down from Ash's face to my phone as I checked the time. I actually have a tutoring lab tonight. It's for a research paper I'm doing. She nodded. Hey, when we party tomorrow, it'll be an honor, both of us, working so hard and all. Ash was so sweet. I felt bad for lying to her and wanting to run down the hall in the middle of our conversation. Go us! I smiled and started walking towards our rooms. Ash followed behind. Well, I hope you get some rest. I really am so happy for you. I hope you're proud of yourself. I stopped at my door and gripped the handle with my white knuckles. Ash passed by me to her own door before turning to smile at me. One last time. Thanks, Wynon. Your support really means a lot. Of course, Ash. I smiled back and gave her a wave. Finally, I dumped myself into my room. I checked the time before getting ready. 5 o'clock? I guess that isn't so bad. I have an hour. I lunched my backpack over my desk and hurried over to my mirror. Assessing the damage, honestly, I definitely would have redo my whole makeup. But given my time restraint, I would have left with no choice. But to salvage what I had already done earlier today, I sighed. I could feel myself getting worked up as I brushed my teeth. Frantically, what was really bad, the outfit was a part of getting ready for the night. Before I wrecked my brain for ideas, but now standing in front of my closet, I was clueless. I had no idea what I could wear, and what Sal had planned. All I could do was guess. Hey, still on for 6? You. Totally. I took a deep breath before finally deciding I would deal with the consequences of dressing inappropriately. If ever and anywhere to arise, the stress of what if was wasting time. I finally changed into a black long-sleeve mini dress, comfortable enough to move and nice enough that it would really obviously take our date seriously. I kicked off my sneakers and changed into my boots. I pulled my keys out and my wallet out of my backpack and tossed them into the messenger bag. I decided to bring chapstick and mints as well. I didn't know what would happen tonight, but I would like to de-stress the stress. I looked into the mirror one last time, and then it hit me. Sal had complimented my makeup once. Commenting on the gems I had used, I searched through my bag glued. I searched through my bag for glue and added a gem under my eye. Both my eyes. I decided to also bring the glue and some extra gems. The last thing I needed to do was fix my hair. I smoothed it out and styled it and brought a hair tie just in case. With finished makeup and neat hair, I examined my reflection carefully. I looked at my makeup from all angles, making sure my makeup was blended, and my underwear didn't show through my dress. I sighed, feeling my pulse quicken. I had a shaky feeling growing in my chest. I sat down at my desk, waiting for Sal. Don't fuck it up. You know he likes you. You don't have to worry about anything. Just be yourself. I cringed. Oh god, I'm gonna fuck it up. Sorry? So approve. Bro? Gizmo purred at my leg as I stood in front of my bathroom mirror. I was trying to fix my hair. Usually I left it alone to let it fall however it is, but today I was overly aware of every part of myself. I tried on 4 different shirts, but same vibration of black and gray, but now shirt was slightly different from beneath, slightly fit. I was going so crazy trying to look so good for whining that I had even or belt. Purr. Gizmo rubbed harder, begging for dinner. I know you're hungry, buddy, but please, just a sec. I ran my head through my hair again, trying to fluff the loosened curls. At the ends, I strapped on my mask and then fluffed my fridge before painting on a sketch of cologne. Okay, fine. Now you can have your dinner. Wine and proof. Sal. Hey, I'm here. You all ready? You. Yes, I'll be down in a sec. I slung my messenger bag over my shoulder and startled to the front door. I clenched my necklace and prayed for the night would be great, but at least similar to anything I had imagined before. Sal was waiting outside in the car for me. Hey, Wynan. I could tell by his voice he was already smiling. Hi, Sal. I smiled with the warm cheeks as he opened the door for me. Once Sal slumped into the driver's seat, he pulled out a small bouquet of dried lavender. I got you this. I was smiling harder now. Knowing my face was going to itch all night, I took the bottle from Sal and held a soft flower scent. Sal, this is so sweet. You really didn't have to. He shrugged. I wanted to. I like dry flowers, and I didn't know lavender reminds me of you. I couldn't help but giggle. Thank you, Sal. I love it. It's pretty. He chuckled. Like I said, it reminded me of you. He sighed before turning on the key in the engine and driving out of the dorm parking lot. So, do you want it to be a surprise, or would you like to know what we're doing? I could feel a stupid smile on my face. No one ever had taken me out like this before. I usually don't like surprises, but I trust you make them good. I'm trusting you make good choices. He laughed. I could hear that he was smiling still. Thank you for having faith in me. I held the flowers in my lap and watched the houses turn into apartments and apartments turn into high rises. Sal was taking me into the city. Of course, I had only lived here for 3 months, so I had no clue what was in the city or where we was headed. Sal pulled into a parking garage. Do you know where we are? I shook my head. Downtown? He laughed. Yeah, that's half of it. You'll see. Sal guided us through the parking garage into a large open lobby where we entered a line. A man in a vest took 2 tickets from Sal, allowing us to proceed into the main building. Oh my god, Sal. I turned to him. You're kidding. His eyes squinted. You like it? Oh, guys, it's a museum. That's so sweet. That is so cool. I smiled wide. It's amazing. You really should have. I looked around at the exhibit walls full of so many works of art. The building itself was beautiful. I couldn't bring myself to think about Sal praying for me. I didn't think I would be somewhere as pretty as this. It kind of feels like you're in a new reality, huh? I smiled at him. Thank you for bringing me here. He laughed. Don't get ahead of yourself. We actually gotta look at the art, you know? Sal took my hand and I looked at him. His eyes were shiny and squinted. I hope he was as happy as I was. Sal's proof. Wynan was so sweet, but it hurt my heart a little to see her recluse and receiving kindness, especially when I wanted to give her all I could. We walked from room to room, looking at different eras of art from dozens of artists. Wynan really liked the realism area. She let out a small gasp as we came up on Edward Hopper's work.
I glanced over to catch a glimpse of her eyes widen and lips parted.
I love this one.
She pointed to a painting, tilted window.
Oh, that is nice. Look at that.
These colors are so nice. It's almost like I could feel the breeze that's blowing. The curtains feel like I can tell what hour of the night it is. You look up and you see the image she crushed. As we looked at more of the pieces, Wynand became more and more excited. What do you like most about this stuff? I asked with my eyes still fixed on a hanging frame as she began to speak. I shifted my gaze to her to watch her face lit up again. She smiled softly.
It feels like he controlled time and gave us infinite peace. Just for moments, we actually considered passing seconds.
I only smiled and nodded. I could listen to her talk forever. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Wynand. The museum was decently sized, and since we started viewing late, we were only able to see half before an announcement started. They'll be closing soon. Before the respectful visitors, but we are here to head back to the car.
That was really great, Sal.
She swung her bag in and beamed at me with glowing eyes. Her eyes were lined up with black and small bits of glitter, indicating some blue gems. I already loved them. I really loved when she did that. I smiled back. Oh, that's not all. I'm gonna feed you, of course. She laughed as I let her into the car.
Wynand's proof. My heart was snoring. The more time I spent with Sal, the more I could feel myself warming up to his advances. I was really becoming comfortable with the thought of our mutually shared romantic interests. I had no longer doubt. The sun had set by the time we had left the museum to drive to the city. It was incredibly enjoyable. Buildings were lit up, and streets were populated. The high rises swallowed you, making you feel like you were in a movie, and being with Sal made it even better. He had rested his right hand on my lap. I couldn't maintain my excitement when Sal led us into the restaurant. The view from just our table was beautiful. The windows were huge and gave us a perfect look at the historical hotel across from the street. Sal and I watched the wealthy visitors and belt drivers coming out with imaginary scenarios for their livings as we ate. A slight dazzle began, and a droplet formed on the windows. I couldn't have asked for a more perfect day. Alright, guys. Lavender 2, and then I'll be loving you back. Lavender 2, and it's Finn? I don't know what Finn means, but I guess we'll find out. Luckily the rain didn't start picking up until we had gotten into a car. As we drove out of the city, I looked over to Sal, watching his hair illuminate with passing lights. The rain hadn't made it curl more. I looked back to the DoorDash where my bouquet sat. Today was so much fun, Sal.
Yeah, I'm really glad. You were free. He cleared his throat. Maybe we could go back to my place for a little and just hang out.
I smiled to myself as I watched the rain drop heavier. I'd like that. As we drove back into town, the rain stretched to a full storm and our car ride was coming to an end, which meant we were doomed with the journey from the parking lot from his apartment.
Oh, great.
The car slowed and Sal peered out the window, searching for all directions for a parking spot.
I don't think we're going to find a spot in front of the building. He looked through his rearview mirror, and I really don't have an umbrella, so we're going to have to run through the rain.
It was obvious he was stressed as he continued to look around for a closer spot. I gave him a smile. That's okay, Sal. I rested my hand on his leg. I promise I don't mind. He sighed before driving at the back of the parking lot.
I'm sorry.
Sal was sweet when he got out. He grabbed the jacket from the back seat and tried to cover me as I got out. Of course, the weight of the rain and the strength of the wind as we both still got soaked.
Oh God, Wynand, I'm so sorry.
Sal gestured to my dripping wet hair. You're probably cold. He disappeared into his bedroom, returning with the hoodie and pajama pants.
Here, you can wear this if you want.
I smiled. Sorry I'm always taking your clothes. Sal whitened behind his mask. His hair was dripping too, and his wet shirt was plastered to his body.
No, it's fine. I probably should have let you get out closer instead of making you walk with me.
I shook my head, still smiling. I wouldn't have let you do that, but I'm gonna change now. I headed towards the bathroom, and Sal returned to his room, though I was genuinely sorry for needing to change clothes. I was actually freezing.
I stripped my dress off and slipped Sal's hoodie on. It smelled like him, instantly provided 10 minutes more warmth. I balled up my dress and took it away from my bag. When I came out, Sal was still in his room, so I decided to snuggle on the couch with Gizmo. He welcomed me with a small noise before returning into a ball in my lap. I stroked his head as I looked around at Sal's apartment. It was actually so neat and smelled so good. The color lights adding calming elements. He had posters of various bands and musicians. He also had tons of CDs and records and stashed underneath his TV stand. I haven't really known he was so musically talented. I wish I could hear more of his music. I realized there was a lot about Sal I didn't know. The thunder becoming more frequent and the flashes of lightning stormed the room. Hey, sorry it took so long. Sal emerged from the dark hallway in pajamas and joined me on the couch. I'm glad Gizmo was keeping you company. He's sweet. We watched Gizmo jump down and stretch before taunting off to his water bowl. He really is. Did you know he actually is an emotional support animal? Sal was still watching Gizmo drink water. I didn't know that. It definitely makes sense now. I pulled my sleeves over my head and shifted my position. Though I was gradually becoming more comfortable with Sal, there was still something so electric about being alone with him. I felt restless just sitting next to him on the couch. So I noticed your CDs and stuff. When did you start collecting? Sal looked at the stash of music and then back at me. Geez, I probably got my first CD in 5th grade. Of course it was something cringy, probably like Never Shout Out or Our City, but I never liked having my own music, so I just never stopped collecting. He was still looking at me, his blue eyes peering out. Do you collect anything else? Do you collect anything? I shrugged. Not as cool as records or anything. I guess you really don't have to collect books, but I have a bunch of them. I like to own them instead of just checking them out. It kind of feels something special, able to make notes and stuff. I should probably read a book, honestly. I can't hear him smiling. I'm kind of letting my brain rot. I laughed. You're in college. You're not letting your brain rot. In all respect, I definitely am. Do you think I could check one out from you? My lips pulled away a smile. Of course, any requests? Oh god, I told you, my brain is rotted. I don't have a read list, but I guess you had to pick one up. I squinted. I wanted to see him smile again. He got up from his seat and crouched in front of the couch, shuffling through his CDs. Ah! He stood up and returned to me, holding the CD out with the orange cover. Here, we can do a little trade. It's one of my favorites. The CD cover reads Kane's Forever. Thank you, Sal. I'll be listening to this. What's your favorite song on it? I smiled at him and placed the CD in my bag. I had set on my coffee table. It's called Jewel. Kind of reminds me of happy memories, like it's just you, and it feels nostalgic for the pleasant, almost, probably not, except, but it relaxes me. It'll play for you. Sal pulled the song up on his phone, and it played for me. I leaned back into the couch, feeling my weight shift closer to Sal. I really like this. Sal nodded. It kind of makes me want to dance and cry at the same time. The song played and began to play through a sequel. Sal reached to pause the music. Wait, I like the music. I like the music. I injected. I want to see what you listen to. Sal laughed. Fingers crossed. A Weezer song doesn't come on. I laughed with him. Oh, you're saying Weezer is in your likes? He rolled his eyes. You can't tell me they don't have at least some good songs. I shook my head and laughed at him. So, speaking of dancing, Ash and I are thinking about going out this weekend. You want to come? Like a party? He turned his body towards me, sitting cross-legged. His weight shifted, bringing us even closer now. Yeah, Ash had this really major midterm that she was so stressed about, and she aced it. He thought for a second. As long as you're there. I smiled. To meet his eyes. Yeah. Considering how fun the last one was. I could see his eyes move over my face as he looked at me. Though I wish I could see a smile more often, I was grateful to look into his eyes. I turned to sit crisscross applesauce. I could face Sal. Our legs almost touching. I hope this isn't weird, but you have really pretty eyes, Sal. He shyly broke eye contact and directed his gaze over to the window behind me. No, that's not weird at all. Thank you. I really like your eyes too. His focus was on me again. I like when you do the sparkles. He pointed underneath his own eye, the little gems. Okay, that's actually funny because the first time we met Sal in part 1, we had little gems in our eyes and he could make it to dreams. So that's a very nostalgic one. A mischievous smile formed on my face. Do you think you like to have some? Sal's eyes widened. I could see a slight blush creep on his visible top skin of his cheeks. What do you mean? I grabbed my bag off the table and started searching for my things. I brought some extra just in case I had to fix my makeup. I pulled out a little box of gems and a bottle of eyeglass glue. I held the box out to him. Here, I have a bunch of different colors. I want to put some on you if you want. Sal opened the gems and one out, placing it in his palm. These are cute. He hummed as he curiously poked around in the box. He picked up one with me, unsure. Could I have these pink ones, maybe? That's sad. His mom's favorite color is pink. Oh, this is perfect. Sal was so cute. Every time our eyes met, I got a fluttery feeling in my chest, and I couldn't help but smile. Yeah, of course. I actually think they'll look good with your hair. I took the box out and put aside 2 pink gems before unclapping the glue. So, you don't have to take your mask off. All the way, you don't have to. He nodded and undid the straps, pulling it down to reveal only his eyes. He laughed. I felt a little nervous. I've never worn makeup before. I promise you look great. I had a gem on the tip of my finger, waiting for the glue to dry. Is it okay if I put them on you? He laughed, even with his mask only pulled down a little. I was spooning over being able to watch just a bit more of his expression. I could really do that myself. Oh god, I would fuck it all up. I smiled, leaning closer with the gem on my finger. Okay, just look up. I'll be careful, I promise. I held my breath and gently placed the gem under his right eye, then his left. Okay, done. When Sal looked at me, I could tell he was nervous. Oh, Sal, you don't look scared. It looks so good on you. His eyes lit up. Really? I handed him a complete mirror. Look! He took the mirror and attentively examined his reflection. His nerves expressed and turned into a smile as some of his hair behind his ear tickled closer. Oh shit! He laughed excitedly. I love it. Watching Sal's excitement made me excited too. His smile was pure, and there was so much beauty in him. The way he looked at me. I felt so deeply. His eyes were icy blue, but so warm. I wish I could express my feelings more clearly, but there was this intensity. Now I wanted to kiss him again. Even just the thought of him feeling his arms around me created swiftly a weightless inside me. Every time we touched, I wanted it to last forever. I wanted to show him tenderness and passion. I was feeling so deep. So this is kind of weird. You know, guys, they meet up and they're not even dating. That's like actually the crazy part. That's just a wheel. That's just beyond me. But, you know, whatever. For the plot. Alright, okay. Sal's proof. Later that night, after the date. Parting ways with Wine-In after our date was extremely hard. I really wanted the night to last forever. When I got home from dropping her off at her dorm, all my thoughts let loose. I couldn't keep my cool any longer. My feelings for her were growing stronger, and I only wanted to get closer. She filled a void in my life. I wasn't even aware if I had a close friend and a loving family, but there was something about Wine-In that she brought into my life. Wine-In was beautiful. I knew this crush was more than just infatuation. I felt so comfortable around her, and every second I was with her, I was smiling. Her company meant everything in the world to me right now. I stood in front of the mirror in my bedroom and took off my mask. My heart fluttered at the sight of the gems underneath my eyes. I can almost feel Wine-In's gentle touch as she put them on me. I wanted her touch more than anything. If only I wasn't so timid. When I was around her, maybe I'll feel her touch more often. I smiled at my reflection and felt silly for not wanting to take the gems off. I held my mask up to my face, revealing only my eyes, just as I had done when Wine-In applied them. I snapped the picture and texted Wine-In. So, I don't want to take them off. Pick. There's a pic of him that jumps under his eyes. I don't think I'll be able to find picture with Sal. I don't think that's a picture I can find.
That's gonna suck. That's gonna suck ass. That's gonna suck actual ass.
I sat my phone down and sighed before removing the gems. I took a piece of tape and tapped them to my mirror, along with my ticket to the art museum. Then I brushed my teeth and got to bed.
Went in. Now you just need your hair done.
I smiled to myself in the dark, clenching my phone to my chest before I dozed off to the thought of wine and brushing my hair the next day. My phone was vibrating violently against my chest, interrupting my sleep. I groaned as I struggled to stop the vibration, but to no avail, more vibrating. I groaned louder as I forced myself to open my eyes. Larry was calling. What do you need? I heard him laughing on the other line. Geez, sorry to bother you, Sleeping Beauty. Larry, please, what do you need? Dude, it's early. Early? Dude, it's 2 p.m. I texted you at like 11. I didn't get a response, so I just got worried. I sat up and rubbed my eyes. Oh damn, is it really that late? I looked at my wrist as if I were wearing a watch. I wasn't. Sorry Larry. Yeah, I'm fine. I was just sleeping. I kinda gathered that. So, what's up? Everything alright? Yeah, everything's cool. I was just trying to ask if you were up to go out tonight. Ash texted me about going to a party. Like, with her and Wine. Oh, yeah, Wine said something. I mean, yeah, I'll be down for that. Larry paused. Okay, well, mind if I come over? I ran a hand through my hair. Sure, like, right now? Yeah, but if you're trying to sleep more, that's totally cool. Oh, no, you can come over. I leaned back into the wall and rubbed my eyes. Well, I'll see you soon. 2 p.m.? Jesus Christ. I didn't even stay up that late. I tried to recall what happened. I had gone to bed, unfortunately. My phone screen time provided me wrong. It was late. I had stayed up thinking longer than I thought. I looked through my notifications and saw the text from Wine from sent 2 hours ago. I hope I see you tonight. I smiled. I felt excited for tonight. Every time I saw Wine I felt closer and closer to overcoming the sincerity that held me back from fully putting myself out there. Ugh, fuck Larry. I dragged myself out of bed to make myself at least a little more presentable. It was very obvious I had slept hard. My hair was sticking up in the back, and I had marks all over my skin from the blanket. I brushed my teeth and then tried to smooth out my hair best I could. Too soon after I heard a knock at the door. I slid on the hoodie and let Larry in. A gust of air blew from outside. Oh fuck, it's getting cold. Larry laughed. Nice undies. I tugged at the bottom of my hoodie. Shut up. Be grateful I let you in. Larry strolled over to the couch before plopping down. You really don't have time. You're an old man anymore. You really don't have time for your old man anymore, huh? You're ridiculous. I rolled my eyes, but I can't lie, Larry made me smile. I'm gonna take a shower. You can do whatever. The Switch controllers are charged. If you want to play, you can. Oh man, this is the life. Larry grabbed the controller and stretched his legs out. Time your time, babe. I scoffed. Right. I'll let you know when I'm out. I let him to do his own devices and returned to my room. I turned on the shower, adjusting the knob until the steam and water created clouds of steam. I stripped down and hoped in letting the hot water run down my body. Even though I wished I was in comfort of solitude, Larry could wait. So I took my time and allowed myself to relax. I stood under the steam until I could feel my muscles loosen up. I scrubbed my hair while shampoo massaged the wrist tension of just waking up. I also used this fancy body wash Ash got me that smelled like lavender and vanilla. Apparently, it's supposed to calm you down. She said it was some kind of anthem and I could use conditioner too. I was abruptly relaxed. I got out and tumble-tied my hair. Wrapping the towel around my waist, I opened the bathroom door to see Larry laying on the bed. Hi? Why are you in here? Like, on my bed, and not in the living room? I strapped my mask back on and tightened the towel. You were taking too long, and I was getting bored. Besides, Gizmo was crying to be let out since you locked him in here. Larry was playing with my Rubik's Cube. Okay. Well, I'm out now. Can you, like, leave so I can dress? You're so naggy. Larry sat up and flashed out a sneaky grin at me. Before I leave you, you went out with that class partner, didn't you? My cheeks were hot against my mask. What makes you say that? Larry stood up and stared towards the door. I take it to the art museum. Well, that and the condoms on your bedside table. Excuse me? Whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't read that far. Did we? Did I miss something? Did we miss something? Hold up. Hold up. Let me go check. No, no, no. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, whoa. Wait, what do you mean condoms on his bedside table? Sal Fisher. Fuck, I can't even talk. Sal Fisher. What do you mean there's condoms on the side of it? Did him and Wyman do something that's out of, like, the story? Like, did they do something? Or was he planning to do something? Sal, you fucking cornball. Anyways. Let's keep... Sal, this horny, blue-haired bastard. Anyways. Larry, get the fuck out. I shoved his shoulder, I shoved his shoulder, causing him to pass the doorway, closing the door behind him. Before the doorknob. Stop snooping around! I could hear him laughing throughout the door. I grabbed the condoms off my table and quickly threw them into the drawer. My face was still hot. Accusations like there was something I was familiar with. Fucking Larry. Ugh. I brushed my hair, finished getting ready. I decided to wear an oversized black and gray striped sweater. I sighed as I walked into the living room to join Larry on the couch. Larry turned to me with a smirk. So, did you or did you not go on a date? I rolled my eyes. I mean, yeah, kinda. Ooh, my man, Sal! Gave me a pat on the back while grinning wildly. And according to your bedside table, it must have gone right alright, huh? Larry! Gross, dude! By instincts, I began to twirl my hair nervously. It was still getting damp, and I was still worried about it getting fuzzy. Actually, I stole them from you, and I have no intention of using them, so you can have them back. Larry shook his head and lounged back into the couch, resting his feet on the coffee table. Nah, you need them. I mean, you're gonna see that girl again, right? I kinda hated the way this conversation was going. It was awkward for me. That Larry didn't know the girl in question was whining, and it was even more uncomfortable that Larry wanted me to fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna see her again. The day went well, and I think she had a good time. But jeez, I like her, like really like her. I don't know if I'll ever get feelings like this, so I don't know. This is kind of important to me. Like, it's just all assuming. I can't seem to think about anything else. Larry was looking at me with wide eyes, and his expression was half shocked and half confused. I didn't mean to ramble, but I felt good getting it off my chest. Only I was getting into angsty with Larry, snarling by the way he was. Well, Sal, I'm glad you know the date went well, and I'm glad that you seem to really like her as much as you do. I just kind of can't believe that I didn't know what was actually going on. I tugged at my hair. Yeah, well, it kind of crept on me. Larry thought a while before sitting up. Oh shit, he smiled. So you like this girl, and what? You're falling for her pretty quickly? Something like that, I guess. He shook his head. So, I've always wanted to be a wingman, but it sounds like you're leaving crush territory. I raised an eyebrow. And entering what? He shook his head and laughed. Nah, I'm not spelling it out for you. It's a dangerous word. I frowned my brows, trying to catch on to something. What was Larry saying? So, wait, am I doing something wrong? Technically, no, because you can't help it. But you're just starting to sound like some kind of serious about this crush. Seriously? Oh god, Larry, come on. Ugh. I've only known her for like 3 months. He smiled. It doesn't take long. I rolled my eyes. What made you the romance expert? Oh, Sal. He patted my shoulder and gave me a pat. I'm just good with this, you know? This stuff. Can't get ladies if you don't know anything. Larry, you don't even get ladies. I was cut off by his phone vibrating on it. I was oh. Okay. Oh, Larry, you don't even get lit. I was cut off by his phone vibrating in his pocket. He read a text.
Ash asked if you were coming to the party tonight. I mean, I actually wait. Ash asked if you were coming tonight. Pause. I mean to the party. Bro, we're just getting horny for no reason. What happened to the wellness? That fuck. Oh lord. Yeah, I mumbled. He nudged me. Hey, maybe you can invite your mystery girl. Bet that would cheer you up. Larry wasn't making this easy, and I started to regret telling him that there was even a girl in the first place. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you need a mystery girl of your own, since you're so good at this. He sighed. Well, you know. For real though? Ash's been trying to set you up forever. No luck? He paused and shrugged. Nope. Maybe you're just luckier than me. I didn't want to push Larry, but it didn't make sense to me. He was always asking about girls and teasing me about Ash. He always had this flirty energy, and I couldn't help if he was nagging me on and he was willing to do for himself. Wine didn't prove. Lord, it's getting tiring. But yeah, we're just getting hornier and hornier chapter after chapter. It just gets no better. Sigh, instant sigh, very, very big sigh. Okay. Wine and prove. So, this guy, well, kind of is known of a sketch. I mean, I've only talked to him a few times. He was in art with Larry and back in high school. I widened my eyes heavily applying mascara. And Larry and Sal are definitely coming? Ash sighed. Yes, Wynan. We'll be okay. I promise I wouldn't take us too much dingy alleyway. It's a house by campus. Besides, there would be a ton of people. There would be like a Halloween party. I blinked at my reflection. I felt nervous. I don't know why I felt so jittery. Even though I kind of did as things progressed with Sal. I was getting worried about blowing our cover. Sal and I haven't really made it official, so Ash and Larry didn't know, but without being official, when I grudged the feeling involved, I feel like we got deep enough and we were keeping it secret, and I'm a terrible liar. You liked the Halloween party, right? Ash was raging on her bag. I sighed. Yeah, for the most part. I think we'll have fun tonight. It would be just like that. She turned to me with a kind of expression. And if you hate it, then you can vouch like last time. No hard feelings. Yeah. God, Ash, you're too sweet. She laughed. I mean, I get it. A text, notification sound. Oh shit. I could hear Ash frantically scrambling around with her things. What? I turned around in a chair to watch her panic. Ash, what? You're freaking me out. She huffed. My phone. She walked around my room looking aimlessly. Do you have a charger? Really? That's what this is about? I reached under my desk to unplug my phone charger before handing it to her. I mean, not to freak you out, but yes. Oh my god, can you imagine how bad it would be if my phone was dead? I didn't know until we left. I hummed and turned to my desk. Yeah, you're right. It's a good thing you got that text, otherwise I wouldn't have thought about it. Carefully, I tried my best to speak up while drawing on eyeliner. Who was it? Ash finished my phone away from my bag. Sal? What'd he say? He said Larry tried to text Ash earlier, but she didn't reply. Are you with her? She laughed. That's funny. I spoke slowly as I worked on the other side. You can text him back on my phone if you want. Alright, I'll ask him what time they want to leave. Thankfully, my makeup turned out fine, despite my shaky hands as I felt worried about my appearance, but I tried to calm myself with the fact that this time I was dressed a little comfortably. I was in a black out t-shirt while at dinner. Sal said that they were going to leave in 30. He also said he was excited about, whining. I adjusted my hair in the mirror. What's up? What's this picture? She turned my phone towards me, and I was looking at the picture Sal sent me of him wearing my gems. My heart dropped, and I could feel myself starting to think of bullshit excuses. I laughed, trying to buy time to think. Sal told me he liked my makeup, and I sent him a tutorial so he could try it himself? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Come on. Ash doesn't look at me like that. I knew she wasn't trying to, but she was looking at me with heavy suspicion. Please, just smile or say something like, oh cool, maybe don't say anything at all. Finally, she smiled. That's cute. She handed me my phone back, but I felt sick to my stomach. I had no idea Sal was into makeup. She didn't actually believe that, did she? Fuck, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed either, but I don't judge. I smiled timidly while holding the phone tightly. So, are you closer with Sal now? I was feeling immediately invigorated, but I can tell if Ash genuinely suspicious or if I just felt nervous wreck. And Larry too. She nodded. That's good. They both seem to really like you. I forced a smile. That makes me feel good. I'm glad I'm not ignoring. I'm glad I'm not annoying to have around. Oh God, not at all. Honestly, I was kind of sensing Larry really liked you. She hopped into my bed, placing her back in my lap. A warm blush crept on my face. Oh please. I felt relieved to have the attention off. I felt the relief to have the attention of Sal off, but I also didn't want Ash thinking it was anything between Larry and I. No, you're blushing. She smiled and swung her feet. It's a crazy thing for you to say. I fumbled with my necklace in an attempt to self-soothe. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Larry had a thing for you. I wasn't even just saying this to redirect the conversation. I have to admit, it was a genuine conversation. Between Larry and randomly blowing me off and his touchy teasing with Ash made it sense. Wayne, do you hear yourself? Do you hear what you're saying? Larry and I have been friends for God who knows how long. Surely that's not the case. I shrugged. I mean, you're right. You know him better than I am. You're just an outside observer. She smiled shyly. Whatever. It's time for us to go anyway. She totally likes Larry, guys. She likes Larry. She loved this man. Anyways, guys, this will be the end of this video. Wow, how freaky we got very very fast. I'm sorry for the constant stuttering or choking on words or how I had to redirect words. Wow, this chapter just Wynan and Sal have at least kissed, I think, 2 times. Oh my god, 2 times and they're not even together. Like, are we kidding? We don't kiss people that we're not together with. But anyways, yeah, we'll find out what happens at the party and what happens with Sal and Listener. Will they get together? Will they keep their secret from... Will they keep their little love triangle secret from Larry and Ash? Also, very W song. But, I hope I don't get fucking copyright striked. I'm gonna cry if I do. My last video had got 0 likes because of a copyright strike. I don't know if you can still like copyright strike videos. I really don't. But anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in part 5. I love you guys. You guys have an excellent, great weekend. Thank you for all the love and support on this little series. And I'll see you in the next episode.